Okay, it is Tuesday. Luke has his 8th grade graduation tonight, so I'm not going to get a whole lot done in today. However, I am feeling a lot better. They got me on some anti-inflammatories that seem to be working quite a bit. Well, working pretty well, comparable to just chewing on Advil every day. So I'll show you what I'm doing, trying to get done before they get home. So this is a 61 parts car. And in case you don't know or have forgotten, it's a parts car because somebody backhabbed it to tub it. You know, that, and it's got some rust issues. I need these quarters to put on the 62 because the Civic wheelbase is longer, and rather than cut this out, move it back, and then add a piece of metal in between there, I'm just going to cut the quarter out, set it there, and then cut the 62 and put the quarter in where I want it to be. So before I do that, I need to strip the paint off of it, because I think that, or I'm sure that, if I cut this off and then try to strip the paint with it off, it will distort it. I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to strip the paint first and then cut the quarter off of it. And I'm going to go back here to almost the bumper, and then all the way up here to pretty much the front edge. I won't need all of it, but I want to have as much as possible before I do it. I bought this tool about 3 years ago when we had more money, and I bought it for the Cricket wagon, but I just today took it out of the box. And so far it seems to be working pretty good, although you got to use the hefty, 40 grit drum, because the 140 grit doesn't do hardly anything. And it's got this handle on it, and it didn't seem to come with the hardware to put it on. And frankly, I think you really need the handle, because that thing is freaking heavy. I'm gonna go see if I can't find some screws to put in there. I'll be right back. All right, Luke has his 8th grade graduation or progression or whatever the heck they call it. Anyway, so I got to get and go do that. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Don't get too excited. It's just a test fitting. So that's the 61 grill on the 62 front end. I got my turn signals. I just haven't put them in yet. It doesn't quite line up as good as I'd like it to. I mean, it does. The studs go through the holes, but you really had to kind of stretch everything to get it going. I don't know why. Because, as you can see there, if anything, it's in too far, and it needs to be farther to fit the grill. So maybe, possibly, this is the other 61 grill, the one that the tree fell on, that came off the 62. Maybe these bolt holes aren't quite in the same position as the 62. I don't know. Regardless, I get some more hardware and it'll be on there. My plan is to have this all bolted up completely, and then when I pull it back off, it's just going to come off in one piece. Just unbolt the fenders, and then it should just come off. So, got some other work done. Got the quarters off. As you can see, this one here has got quite a little bit of rust in it. So that'll have to be fixed, but so then I can get it around here, move this back to about there. So at least 2 inches, maybe 3. Fix that. I mean, I suppose I could live with that maybe, but once I get these off, then I can work on the inner fender, bring it out to the skin, put it all back together. Show you what I did over here. So tomorrow, the plan is I'm going to pull the wiring harness out of this car. I don't really know why I need it, but I'm going to take it just in case. I need to find my other Sawzall blades, so I'm just going to chop this off here. Chop it off inside there, and then that way I can use these frame rails to basically pare down and weld to the Honda rails, and then hopefully have a place to bolt the bumper. But I'm just going to take this whole rear end off. I'm going to save this because it's actually in good shape. Not great, but good. You can see some really old damage there. And I mean old as in this is lead that they used to fix the dent with. That's how old this has been fixed, but just a little dent right there is all it was. But there's no rust. No rust. No rust. So it's definitely worth saving. Yeah, I gotta get all these screws out of there. We'll do that later though, but get this cut, and then once that's cut the roof off. I need to get this piece, this window frame out, and then just cut it, because I may end up needing to use the skin on that car since that one's so damaged. I'd have to get creative. I mean, I can drill these spot welds, but I'm not undoing what I already did here. Plus, I don't know, like how it's attached here. I just cut it and weld it, but I'm gonna try to fix what I've got. Another thing too I noticed is I thought this was like a baby blue color, but when I was running that stripper disc there, stripper wheel, you can kind of see in the camera there. See if I can find a better spot. It's not baby blue. It is actually you can kind of see it there. It's actually the same color as the original color on the top. So originally this car had this kind of light mint green color, and then this dark metallic, or darker medium dark, medium metallic green. So it's two-tone. And then it looks like they went to it actually looks like they painted the whole thing that light green, and then painted the whole thing dark green. And when they painted the whole thing dark green, they painted over the roof. So this has only been painted once. That's the original paint, and then this crappy green on top of it. But the rest of the body has had multiple paint jobs. This has been painted like 3-4 times. But anyway, tomorrow I'll get this all chopped up, and then I can haul it out of here. I want to maybe cut these front frame horns, or I'll probably cut them off of that piece, because this still has the engine cross member bolted in. I don't want to mess with that. I want to save those springs. Yep, we'll get that done tomorrow. For the night, I'm calling it. It's time to go in, take a shower. It was in the 90s here today, so it was a bit warm, a little humid. I did paint the condenser black. I got tired of looking at it. I used the trim paint because I thought it might be the thinnest, since this is actually designed to spray on the plastic parts and just turn them black again. And it was pretty thin. So hopefully it won't insulate the thing, but see, it makes the grill pop better. You don't see the condenser behind it. And at a glance, it doesn't even look like, it still looks like a Rambler. I'm gonna have to get really creative with those bumper brackets though. Anyway, I'm going in. See you guys tomorrow. All right, so I got the roof cut. Just waiting on Luke to get done mowing, and then we'll lift it off. Got the SN cut off of it here. You can see this is the Valiant leaf spring. Those are the, I'm guessing that they're Chevy leaf springs from when the guy tried to back half it. Either way, that's the, I'll stay in going with it. I'll air these tires up again. I don't need to keep them. I'm gonna hold on to these rims because they're special. They're like 4 inches wide or 4.5 inches wide, 15s, but they clear the steering arm barely. You can see those tires are way too wide. So I'm gonna hold on to all of these, put them in the shed. Grab the wiring harness off of it, just in case. Grab the steering wheel off of it, just in case. And then, front springs, and then I think we can send her away. But for right now, I'm gonna trim up this piece of metal. This is part of the roof of the Honda, but I'm gonna use it as a temporary roof on the Geo Tracker. So I'm just gonna come along here and cut that. Do that real quick. Okay, I need to do some grinding. This is a lot more than I thought it would be. I've already gone through 4 blades. So you've got the outer skin, and then you've got this inner support here in this corner, and then you've got another inner support here in this corner, and then you've got the inner skin, which is over here. You got these 2 layers here, and this is some pretty thick metal. I mean, for a Civic. But that's what I was talking about, the roof being part of the frame or chassis of the car and being a major structural component. So just chopping the roof off and welding another car's roof on it isn't necessarily going to keep it as strong as it was. So like I've said before many times, I'm not a pro at this. I'm not an expert. I'm still in the middle of my first legit body swap. The golf cart didn't really count, I guess, but so what I've said before is the roof is part of the frame. And if you have any doubts to that, then take your donor car, cut the roof off of it, and go drive it in rear world situations for a while. See how long it takes before you won't be able to open the doors. It will distort. You hit a bump, it will collapse. I had an old Datsun 210 that I bought just because I wanted the drivetrain out of it, but it still had 6 months of tags on it. So I cut the roof off and drove it around, and there were several times I had to put a jack under the middle of it and unbend it so the doors would open and close. Anyway, back to work on this. So I really didn't get much done these 3 days, just the lower valance and the grill. That's about it, really. I spent most of my time, I did paint that. Spent most of my time over there on the 61, so let's go take a look at that. So I got the cutting done, roof's off. I still need to, steering wheel. I got to pull the little cable off for the wiper motor. I'm going to save that. And some things under the hood to disconnect for the wiring harness. Then I got to figure out how to get those springs out, get those wheels off, and then I think that's it. This is out of here. So I did do a couple little things to the tracker. Luke and I pulled the seats out of it, pulled the carpeting out of it, and I worked on that little roof panel a little bit. I probably spent an hour on it, but I don't want to spend too much time on it. But that's it for this. So sorry there wasn't more cool content done, but you know, every little bit trickles into the project. But I hope you guys enjoy, and like, subscribe, and I'll see you next week.